Hello, everybody. Friday night. Welcome to Cantina Social Hour. It is great to see you. Looks like we have a little crowd forming here with us this evening. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. Happy summer. It's definitely a good time. Comic-Con's coming up next week. Lots going on. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to get through it. So super excited this evening because good friend of the channel, Dano from the Dano channel, is joining us. And he is the foremost authority, I believe, for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and for all that stuff, theme park stuff. And, we've had conversations on Cantina Chatter podcast. And we're going to talk here on Special Hours. So hello, everybody. All right. Dano, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on again. Glad we get to chat. Last time we talked it all was Celebration a couple weeks back. And even that was very
brief. Yeah, totally.
Very, hectic.
I know.
Fast paced.
I know. Yeah, totally. Like, I know. Like, you see somebody and then, like, you turn around and you turn back and, like, they're gone. It's like, and that happened to me constantly throughout the show. It's just so busy. There's so many people. But it was a great time. I had a blast.
Now, were you at
It was awesome seeing you in person, finally.
Day? Were you there all 4 days or just
nope,
the Saturday?
Just the Saturday.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I had work, so I had to end of the school year and, kind of a, time crunch there. So, but yeah, I had a blast that one day that I was there.
I was there all 4 and I still feel like I didn't do anything the whole time. It was just like constant.
Yeah, I hear you there. I feel like I know I missed out on things afterward. I'm like, wait, I didn't see that. Like, I felt like oh no, I missed that.
I know. I feel like I barely even walked the floor. And I got to walk the floor for like a good 30, 40 minutes before it even opened on Thursday. I kind of snuck in. Mm-hmm. And I still feel like I didn't even see everything. Even with that like extra time to myself, I was like, oh, I just spent it all at the Micro Galaxy Squadron booth the whole time.
Right on. Yeah, you're into those, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, I'm so into those. Like, that's been one of the most exciting things for me this year as far as toys go, is the fact that those are coming out.
Yeah, I have a couple pals that love those too. And I see you got your Mosh Isley shirt going on there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a little Mosh Isley meeting about our next party we're throwing. Not ready to announce publicly yet, but we're going to throw another one soon. So.
Very nice. It's kind of hard to see. I'm sporting a little Kylo Ren this evening.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah, there it is. Cool.
All right. So let's see who's here with us. So we have...
hey, Galen
Howard with us again. Hello. Yeah. How's it going, Galen Howard? Listening while I'm driving, won't be live chatting. Cool. Thank you for being here with us. We appreciate it. The Emperor himself is here with us, I guess.
Whoa,
Greetings, Emperor.
All right.
Thank you for don't use your lightning on us, please. Paul, how's it going? Good to have you back. Britt, good to see you once again. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Oh, hey, Britt.
Yeah, Paul, we're glad that you're here too. The Dano channel is here. Yeah.
Hey.
Did we know that? We got Dodgson in the house. Hey,
Dodgson here.
Yeah, nobody cares. Yeah. We care. We're glad you're here, Dodgson. Obi-Wan, welcome. Good to see you. Jurassic Dave 93. Dave, good to see you. Dave. Thank you for coming in to hang out with us. Dodgson is happy to see you too, Dave. Mary, good to see you. Thank you for hanging out with us this evening. Right. Julie, how's it going? Happy Friday night.
Hey, Julie's here. I know Julie too. Nice to see some familiar faces.
We got Super Source in the house. Source, how's it going? We were just chatting on Instagram a little earlier. Found some deals, I think, for the Hammond collection. Added some
new
stuff to the collection. Very
already. Nice. I saw a lot of Malcolms at like 2 different Targets. One of them was clearance down to $10, but the other one was like $3.62. And I was like, $3.62? That's not bad for, the Ian Malcolm figure. I didn't pick it up though.
I know, it's insane. Dave was one of those folks that posted picture. He sent me pictures earlier of the Raptor he got for like $4. Like, whoa!
Oh wow,
like, that is a deal.
That
is a deal. Yeah, and I've heard of people finding the Parasaurolophus and the Baryonyx for like $9. Like unreal, just unreal how
Oh,
they're able to
dang.
do that. Yeah.
I've managed to stay away from any dinosaurs this year. I don't know how I did it. It's been a like sheer willpower thing. I
Julie
want
has a
to,
question
but
for you.
oh yeah.
Dan, what are you drinking tonight?
Oh, okay. So this is nothing specific. It's more of a tiki drink. Julie, you might appreciate this because you're here in Vegas, if I'm remembering correctly. Lost Spirits Distillery, which is down at Area 15, has a navy rum and a pineapple rum. So I'm using both of those. A little bit of pineapple orange juice, lime juice, and allspice dram. Kind of a tiki drink. Actually, later I'm going out with some other YouTube
Yeah, that
people,
sounds
Magic Journeys.
amazing.
It's pretty good. It's actually pretty good. But we're gonna go out to a tiki bar later, Golden Tiki, here in town. It's like Disneyland for
That's
adults,
cool.
and so I'm kind of prepping for that a little bit later tonight.
That sounds like the kind of thing you'd enjoy, and I'd enjoy that too.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Oh yeah.
I have a little pre-mixed thing going on here. I have a little Bacardi uh, lemonade rum drink. So it's pretty good, pretty good. So cheers.
Nice. Cheers. Absolutely. You know, those pre-mixed cocktails in a can have come a long way. They're pretty good now.
Yes,
They are pretty good. There's a while where you'd see them
they
and they'd
are
be like,
huge.
oh, those are
Yeah,
whatever. But now they've gotten them kind of dialed in where a lot of them are really good.
yeah, they're a big deal right now. Like they're everywhere. Like I was surprised. Like I went to visit my parents in Texas in March, and they were like there too. I'm like, whoa, that's the San Diego brand that's over there. That's cool. So
Yeah.
good stuff. Let's see
Speaking
who
of
else
San
is here.
Diego
I
and
got Sean
Comic
in the
Con, you
house.
mentioned, are you going anything Comic Con next week?
I will be at Comic-Con on Saturday.
Nice. Nice.
Are
I
you
won't
going?
be. No, I'm not. I'm taking it
Okay.
easy until September.
Right on.
Hey, Sean, what's going on?
Yeah, one day is enough. One day is enough for me when it comes to Comic-Con because it's
And Comic Con's a
it's a
beast.
lot
It's a
worse than
different kind of
Celebration.
beast. Yeah. Just getting into that area is a major pain. And that, Comic Con's a different animal altogether.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you can't walk this way. You got to go all the way around. Like, oh, nope, nope, nope. You can't come this way. You go that way. It's crazy, but that's what we like, right? That's what we do. So
Yeah, it's true. Once you're there, you're like, yeah, okay, it's a pain in the butt,
all
but it's worth
right,
it.
Tim, how's it going? How's it
Hey,
going,
Tim.
Tim? Good to see you. Let's see. So, will we be touching on Mattel stuff later, possibly Comic-Con? Yeah, we can talk about the Mattel stuff later, Dodgson. That's not a problem.
Sure.
Britt's asking, here in Canada, I've yet to see even the Malcolm and Raptors on the shelves, let alone on clearance. Yeah,
Oh,
so I don't
wow.
know how they're distributing those in Canada. I know here in the US, it's Amazon, Target, and the online retailers like Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store, but I don't know how they're doing those in that's a good question. I'll look into that and get back to you, Britt, on that. See if we can set you up with some Hammond collection.
Yeah. I mean, earlier, the one Target I went to today had about 12 Malcolms on the peg, and there were 362. And then yesterday when I went, there was probably 6 of them, and they were the ones that were just marked to like $11 or 10 something. I was like, that's not much of a markdown. But the ones that were 3 and change, I was like, wow, that's a lot cheaper.
That is a lot cheaper. Dave says, I got some deals today, plus Super Colossal Giganotosaurus for $30. Wow.
Oh, wow.
That is a steal. That is a steal because that's like half off, I think.
Well, speaking of Jurassic,
yep.
that Mattel, they announced this week was it the Hammond Collection Rex with Gennaro in the toilet? I have to get that. I can't sit on. This is the first time we're getting a Gennaro figure. Like, yeah, I'm excited for that. And what's that? The 22nd? So in a couple days, like in a week from today, that thing's gonna.
Yeah, I
drop.
think it's right in the middle of Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and order it because it's not fun to walk around Comic-Con packed like sardines carrying big boxes of stuff. So I'm going to try and order mine before I go over there. Hopefully, if I don't get it online, well, that'll be the backup going and getting it in person if I can.
Yeah.
And that's not even a guarantee because these things are always crazy.
Yeah, but the previous, I mean, maybe not the Comic-Con ones, but like the Ray Arnold set and even the Hammond with the like little doors of Jurassic Park, or the Nedry with the shaving can. Those weren't that hard to do online. Those were actually surprisingly a decent process. There wasn't like crazy waits or weird sellout immediately. Those were kind of easy to get a hold of. So hopefully it'll be the same case this time. I feel like we've had good luck with Mattel with these releases with Jurassic.
Yeah, they've done a good job with the exclusives. Sometimes there's issues like after you order it with things getting canceled or things not shipping out. But hopefully, hopefully they're ironing all that out before Comic-Con so that it's not a problem for anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, so have you gotten the Hammond Collection Rex yet, Dan?
I have not. I saw your posts on it and I'm like, that thing is gorgeous. But again, I've tried to stay away from Dynasty due to space. I don't have enough space. And I know I'm going to go hard on all this Micro Galaxy Squadron. I'm like, I don't even have room to put that anywhere. My garage is a mess. There's micro machines everywhere. So like, I need to be very choosy about what I collect this year. And so on my channel, actually, when I did the Fallen Kingdom toys, it did not do well on my channel. It really didn't. And I kind of took a hit for it. YouTube was basically saying, stick to Star Wars, dude. I'm like, but I like the dinosaurs. But either way, so for content reasons, I was just like, I'm gonna not do any of the Dominion stuff. And so I stayed away, and I've managed to not buy anything yet. But they keep tempting me, especially with these clearances. And seeing your posts on the Hammond Collection Rex, I'm like, okay, I just need it. I'm gonna need to grab that. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I did buy the Tim and Lex set recently. That's the only thing I picked up because it's Tim and Lex in the new, Legacy Collection format. So I was like, okay, I can't not have that.
Yeah, that is a must-have for sure. First Lex figure, right? So I mean, that's definitely a need.
They keep getting us with those firsts, and you have to. Have to.
I'm glad they're doing them. It's taken them a few years, but I'm glad at least they finally have realized that, hey, we need to do all these other critical characters, and we're finally getting them. But yeah, the Rex is great. That is like, I mean, it's
you think we'll get
probably
a
the best.
Wu?
I think there's a good chance.
I feel like he's a pretty pivotal character.
Now that Gennaro's coming out, like that's kind of like the next one on the list, I would say, for Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I can't really think who else it might be. Dodson, eventually.
I don't know if they'll do Dodson.
No,
all the, all the stuff in his, his background. Well, maybe from the new movie though.
Maybe the new version. Yeah, it'll just be a what is it? Tim Cook from Apple action figure.
Yeah, basically.
You definitely have those vibes.
I know, it was like so blatant. Well, cool. So yeah, no, Mattel's doing a good job with the line lately. There's a lot out there. They're keeping it pumping. It's become this evergreen line like Star Wars has always been, where it's just always on the pegs. It sells well. Prices are reasonable. They haven't really increased the prices all that much in 4 years. And, I'm glad for that. They're doing a good job.
Yeah. It's kind of cool that that's one of the spots where you really don't see a lot of complaints. In the Star Wars section, it's Star Wars, so we're going to have a lot of complaints from people. We're very passionate Star Wars fans, and nothing's ever good enough for us. But there are also legit reasons to complain on the Hasbro Star Wars side. But to what you're saying, Mattel has just been really on it. There's been there's a couple things here and there to nitpick about, but they've been handling this line really, really well.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. Yeah, absolutely. So good stuff. And what else did Dodson want to know? I think he was asking about something specific for Jurassic that I may have already forgotten. Let's see. He's mentioning something about Fallen Kingdom views, Dan.
How my Fallen Kingdom videos got low views. Yeah, they got low views, and it killed my channel growth. Like anytime I would put out a Jurassic video, even though I specifically put out a Star Wars video the same day, I would get a drop off of subscribers. Like I would lose subscribers because I was putting out dinosaur videos and not Star Wars videos. So I was like, ugh. The views were okay. But yeah, sometimes the algorithm just steps in and is like, no, don't do that. It's like, okay.
It's crazy.
All right.
Yeah, it's I know. You almost would think like, okay, once you get like a decent following and a bigger platform that you could talk about other things, but then it's like, no, you can't because they punish you for stepping outside of what you usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so the Emperor has a question here that's interesting. How would Mattel do with Star Wars? I don't want them to do Star Wars, not because I don't think they could come up with a fun line, but just because I've already invested, I don't know, 20 something years collecting Star Wars, and I wouldn't want to like suddenly have to start over with another company.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Yeah, I would rather Hasbro do a little bit better. I mean, and there's stuff, they've got plenty of good stuff coming out too. Like, as much as some people want to nitpick about certain things, there's still some really cool stuff that Hasbro's putting out lately. Vintage collection's been great. There's been a lot of good vintage collection lately. But as far as his question, how would Mattel do with Star Wars? I don't know. I don't know what that would even look like. It would be a different vibe altogether, I would think. And I love what they're doing with Jurassic, but that's a completely different feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think they could do well, but it would just
with
be
Star
like,
Wars,
it'd be strange if it's the same.
Different. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't do the best with human figures at Mattel, at least not yet. So like even like the Hammond collection, like the Ian Malcolm, like, you know, he's got these weird like bulky arms and articulation's a little strange. So yeah. I'm sure they'll get better with time, but as of right now, I wouldn't want it to just switch over to Mattel because that's, you know, I'd probably stop, honestly, because I've already done it for all this time. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, it'd be hard to make the switch.
Yeah, it would.
We have Princess and Scoundrel joining us. Hi there. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us.
Oh, Sarah. That's my space sister, Sarah. She was wearing the same shirt earlier today, too. So,
Star Wars Barbies?
That would be interesting. I mean, we kind of had those in the 90s, Destiny. Right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Forces of Destiny was like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So...
And those were actually cool. I really like the packaging on that. Like that color, that orange, pink, purple with the white kind of background. Mm-hmm. That was a cool line. I mean, I didn't collect any, but except for the lightsaber. I bought the toy lightsaber. There was one that worked with like blade builders. So I was like, I got to do that one. But I actually thought that was kind of a unique lineup.
Yeah. They had Rey staff as well.
Oh, that's right. That was part of the Forces of Destiny blade builder crossover. That's a good piece, actually. That's a really good piece, that Rey staff.
Yeah, definitely. It is. It's a pretty sizable piece, too. I never bought it, but I did see, I was tempted a few times in store when I saw it.
I like that one.
So, right on. So, undo this here. So, we talked a little bit about the vintage collection, Dan, and how that's... you mentioned that it's gotten better and it's the quality and likenesses and articulation and all that. Have you been focusing on TVC lately as a collector?
I mean, I pick them up when I see them. Yeah, like recently with the Obi-Wan wave that came out, I picked up all of those.
Never.
They're literally like sitting right here. I've got, actually, I can reach off screen and grab all of them. They're right here. I haven't opened them yet. And they're like the fact that we get little Lola and stuff like that. I don't know that this figure is the best representation of Ewan McGregor. The sculpt's a little funky, but I mean, I'm glad to see these figures. Yeah. I'm glad we got Reva. I'm trying to think what was else part of that line. The Vader. It's a pretty good Vader. What was the big difference on this one? Was it just the hands were new?
It's no, it's a completely brand new sculpt.
Oh, is it?
Is
okay.
Killer.
See, this is why I brought it up, because I knew you'd school me on this and be able to tell me what I'm looking for here. So what are the big differences on this? Like, walk me through what makes this one special.
So it's an all new sculpt, and it's completely in line with what TVC is doing when it comes to like new sculpts lately. The articulation system's a little different than previous Vaders. It has the new style of hips that they've been doing. It has rocker ankles. The helmet in particular just looks stunning. When you get a chance, if you put up like a little flashlight like to his helmet,
I'm like, where's my light?
You'll notice that the lenses, Yeah, the lenses they're actually transparent, so you can kind of see inside a little bit.
Really? Okay. You see that little red kind of hue. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
See,
So
this is where
yeah,
you
it's
shine,
it
is on all of these details on this kind of stuff. I would never think to look for this kind of stuff, and this is why I watch your channel, is for for exactly this kind of analysis. That I'm like, okay,
yeah.
cool,
Well,
awesome.
thanks. Well, there hasn't been a lot of that lately, but yeah, and it's fun to talk about it now. Yeah, it's great. It's just so like posable and fluid, and this whole wave though is astoundingly good. The Anakin, the
Oh yeah, yeah,
Obi-Wan, the Riva, the Mandalorian Commando, like it's all like tremendously
yeah. I
good
got him
stuff.
too. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah,
opened
he's
them yet. I
good.
just found them like a week ago. Yeah, even the paint details, like some of that weathering on the Mando, is really good. There's some really good
Yeah, they're
weathering on
really
his
good.
armor. So yeah, I mean
Yeah, and super
it's good.
posable
They're doing
too.
well. And I haven't. This came a week or so ago. I haven't opened the Boba Fett yet. One of
Mm,
these all paper packages, right?
yeah, the
So
plastic-free
hopefully
packaging.
plastic free. Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a good figure. I know that set costs, a bit, but it's
What was it, like
yeah, you
$27 or
can't
something like
buy
that?
that. Right. And you can't buy that version of Boba in the main line. Like this is the only way to get him in that exact Book of Boba Fett costume. So you have to buy that set.
I think that's why I bought it, because typically I don't pre-order anymore. I'm over the pre-order game. It's like it's heartache after heartache sometimes, and like when you get them, they end up looking like this sometimes, depending on who shipped them. And you're just like, oh, cool, thanks for the messed up package. So I haven't been pre-ordering, and I'm just kind of hoping I get lucky on the hunt, because I still like the hunt. I'm an old man like that, where I like going out Saturday morning and hitting up 6 or 7 Walmarts and 8 different Targets, and just get up early and roam around town and go hit up all the toy stores. Like it's something
Sure.
fun I enjoy doing. And so when I do find stuff, and using BrickSeek to see like, okay, do I even waste my time going to that part of town? Um, but I've been doing it with the Micro Galaxy Squadron lately, and so I got lucky when I hit all of this whole wave at one Target. I was like, oh, nice! I got here just in time before it got picked clean.
Hmm. That is super rare. Like I can't remember the
Yeah,
last time that happened to me. Years.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, yeah, it's really no. This is a good wave though. It's yeah, it's they just keep getting better and better, and that's the thing. With TVC is that I'm thinking about like the Power of the Force 2 days when they moved into more like 2003 Saga line, and then
Mm,
2006 Saga Collection, and it was like, okay, they can't do better than this. This is great. But then, like, all
yeah.
these years later, it's like, no, they get better. They probably
They
will
gotta keep.
continue to get better.
Yeah, even if you look at some of like remember the Black Series Ahsoka, when it was like Black Series in the small little 3.75-inch black and
Uh-huh.
red card, that one compared to some of the new Ahsokas that are coming out is just like, okay, wow, huge difference. Some of these Ahsokas we're getting now are great, whether it's
Hmm.
the humanized version of the animated one or the Rosario Dawson sculpt that just came out recently. Like they look really good.
Yeah, that's a good figure too. I know they're doing a lot of like the gaming crates as well. Like I
Mm,
got this one in
yeah,
yesterday, I think from Pulse. It was the Republic Trooper. It's a repack, but they brought him
nice.
back with that giant gun that he shouldn't be able to
That thing's.
carry himself.
Can he even stand up with that, or will it just tip over?
Actually, actually, he can if you adjust his
If you
ankles
you
the
lean
right
him
way.
just right.
Yeah, yeah, he does
That's
stand. Believe
funny.
it or not.
Wow.
There's like
I don't think I
that.
have that one yet.
There's this one too that just released. Shea Vizsla, another repack from the
Oh, that's
original vintage
right.
collection. Yeah, and she's
That's
pretty cool.
right. Yeah, she looks cool. She looks really cool.
Um, yeah, but no, they're doing. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff for TVC. I mean, it's come a long way too. In the last few years, because it was almost like on life support for a little bit, and then
It was. It was.
thankfully
It was kind of weak for a little
they
bit there.
they brought new people in, and it's doing well. It's doing well. So I hope they continue to. I mean, the only thing about TVC right now for me is that we're really behind. There's so much that they haven't done from Book of Boba Fett, from Obi-Wan that's already coming out in the Black series. So I mean, it is very behind. And as we get more shows and content, which is exciting, there is that thing that they're constantly going to have to catch up in order to finish doing things. We're still missing stuff from one, still missing stuff from Solo. So it's going to be a while.
But
And
I mean, the
unfortunately, I
fact
feel
that
like
I was able to go to a Target and actually buy a current Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Reva, and actually like get those figures, the Anakin even, and get those figures from a show that was out within weeks is a huge improvement from what it was from, let's say, Mandalorian season 1 or 2. That was like 6 to 8 months later could we get something. Now we're talking, I think I picked those up 2 weeks ago, so we're maybe 2 weeks out from when the show ended. That's a huge time span improvement. So yeah, it's getting better.
It is. That's what they got to do. They got to keep that momentum up. Andor's coming. We haven't seen any announcements or TVC yet. I'm sure we will next weekend. But
just that Black series, right, with the droid.
Just the one droid? Exclusive, yeah. The Cassian Andor that looks like Paul McCartney. It doesn't look like Cassian.
I saw your tweet earlier. He does look like Paul McCartney. Hopefully cool. They release stuff within a few weeks from when that ends, at least that soon. Because I do want more vintage. I love this scale. This is my preferred scale. 3.75 inches is going to always be my preferred scale because of play sets and vehicles. And that's how that's what's fun to take pictures of. I look up there because I have my whole bar cantina set up top filled with like aliens, and it's a mishmash of Jabba's palace set with the Navarro cantina and like a 90s carbonite freeze chamber, and I put lights and stuff up there and like take funny little videos and pictures like it's a little nightclub. Cool. It's my little one diorama that I've set up. But because of stuff like that, those play sets, like 3.75 is going to be it for me always. And so it's cool when we get new stuff, especially those weird aliens and those different unique characters that aren't just the same, Anakin and Obi-Wan, same 5 people over and over. It's those side characters that really let you build out those dioramas and take cool pictures and actually have fun with your toys.
Yeah, that's what TVC excels at, is the world building, the aliens, the droids. And, we don't get as much of that stuff as we used to, but we still, like, if you started collecting a while back, then you still have that inventory of all those other characters that you can utilize in your dioramas and your setups on the shelf. And so I hope they continue the momentum. I hope we get some HasLabs like the Cantina. That way we can have something.
Yeah, you mentioned that. And that's a perfect way to introduce Tonica Sisters. I loved that a lot. I think that's such a good idea we put out there. And who wouldn't back the Cantina? Like a good, really well-made Cantina playset. I feel like if they're going to do a vintage collection, another HasLab, either a Cantina or a crazy Death Star playset, who wouldn't want a legit Death Star playset with real features? I mean, I pony up $500 for a real legit multi-level like Death Star playset.
Yeah, I would too. I wouldn't hesitate. I'd be like, yes,
right. Everybody
these stormtroopers.
Like, okay. Exactly. We have all these random officers and whatnot. Like, you could put everybody in a Death Star playset and it would look awesome.
Yeah.
And same with, Cantina specifically too. Anybody can go into the Cantina and look good. Like any figure, you can find a way to put them in there and be like, tell a cool story. So yeah, those are the two probably biggest Star Wars playsets that would instantly sell out.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's take a peek here and see. Dave says that his girls still play with the Forces of Destiny dolls. That's awesome.
Nice.
Nicto has joined us. Nicto, welcome.
Hey.
They sent me Reva, but Amazon says I won't get Vader till November. I think you'll get it sooner. The other stuff said that too, and all of a sudden it showed up. So I'm sure they'll ship like a Vader placeholder too date pretty soon. Yeah, it'll come. It'll be pretty soon here. Dano, do you plan to do a review of that Rancor you bought after the Book of Boba Fett?
That's a good question. I thought about it. I just know that if I do a review, no one's going to care. You're going to care, which is awesome. And I'm glad to see you say that, especially on someone else's channel. So I bought the Force Unleashed Felucia Rancor? Because I saw it at a collector shop and it was only like $100. And I was like, you know what? I eyeballed it and seen it there forever. But then the night after the big Rancor episode on Book of Boba Fett, the next morning, I like on my lunch break at work, I was like, hey, I gotta go run to the mall. I'm gonna take a long lunch, and I literally like went and bought it before anybody else could because I had a feeling it was gonna either go up in price or because there a lot of times Rancors get expensive, especially new in box, like in perfect condition. So I went and got it. It's actually the other side of this wall here. I don't know if I'm gonna do a review. Should I? Should you guys think I should do a review on? It's just an old toy, and nobody's gonna care if I do it. It's one of those things like no one's gonna watch that. Maybe 100 people, maybe 1,000 people will watch it ever. But it's like one of those. Is it worth it, or should I just stick to putting plastic lightsabers together? Because everybody apparently wants to see it.
Yeah, well, tough decision sometimes. It's like, do I or don't I?
Yeah,
that's a great pickup. $100 too. Like,
right? Yeah, really, I was like, okay, I have to have that. And I'd seen it for months, just like up on top of like a shelf among like other stuff that I'm like, oh, is that even on sale? And I saw a little stickers, like it's like $100. Like, just kind of remember that's there. So yeah, I had to rush out that next morning as soon as I could and like go get it.
Nice. Awesome. I'm glad you got it. Nick Doe, TVC's crushing it. I dropped SWB Black Series, I assume, because of it.
I think so.
Yeah. Super Source says, been playing Fallen Order. Really hope we get Cal in Vintage Collection sooner than later.
Yes.
His alternate outfits are just different colors, so Hasbro can easily repaint him. Yeah, that is huge.
That's a good point.
Glaring really omission because they've done gaming greats and they have
they have
there's all the troopers that Cal could fight.
Yeah, we need a Cal in Vintage. That is a huge missed opportunity. And you're right. They love repainting figures. I would probably buy 5 or 6 different Cals if it was different outfits. Hopefully by the time the next game comes out next year, we'll have a Vintage Collection Cal Kestis. Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so too. It's definitely time. He's overdue at this point. It says time to start up
the Kira prayer circle.
Kira prayer circle.
Yes.
Yeah,
there's no Vintage Collection.
I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, it's
just Force Link, right?
Gosh, Solo was 4 years ago.
Yeah. So I have I think it's 2 different Force Link Kiras. One more in her like younger bob haircut, and then the other one with like the ponytail, like older Kira. But those are the only 2 they ever made, right?
Those are the Force Link ones. Yeah. We need a full-on Kessel Kira for. Yeah, we need a full-on Kessel Kira for TVC for sure.
Did they make a Black Series Kira?
No, they didn't even do a Black Series in that outfit. Only
the figures are the early,
only the first 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting. Let's see what else we got.
Yeah, very interesting. Super Source Rex started to work on a lot of kit bashes for sequel characters. Nice. I'd like to have some more in my lifetime. So yeah, that's another thing. They've really like ignored the prequels since they did that Last Jedi or that the Rise of Skywalker wave in late 2019, which is a really good wave, and it commands a lot of money on eBay. But yeah, they haven't touched, there's no Finn in his latest outfit. There's no Poe in the latest outfit.
Yeah.
There's no Ben Solo. So
there is a lot of missing like key characters. I want Poe in his newer outfit. All we have is Poe in pilot outfit, and that's it ever.
Huh. Yeah, we definitely need those. Definitely need those. So hopefully they get to it at some point. I mean, I'm not too optimistic just because they've kind of just ignored sequels altogether for a few years now. So
yeah,
I'd still like those figures. I would still buy them. Be happy to have them. Pico B1 says that EU characters are on thicker cards and unpunched, finding it's difficult to open them. Hazard, please put the 96 on those cards. Yeah, that is true. Even the latest Kenobi wave, the wave that you have, Dan, they come on thicker cards than the last since TVC came back in 2018.
I wouldn't have noticed that, but you're right. It does have a thicker feel to it. It's
thicker, more rigid.
It didn't
Yeah,
help
some of them
this
are
one though. This
unpunched
one is
as
still.
well.
Oh, really? That's cool. Huh.
Yeah, like the Republic Trooper and Chavis or no, not Chavis, the Republic Trooper was unpunched. So hopefully they work that into all the other figures as well, because I know people have been asking for that for a long time.
That'd be cool.
Pico says, "No, love that you're pro 3.75. I approve."
Oh yeah, always. I'll be 3.75 for life, man. And I say I don't collect Black Series, but I have a lot of them. I don't even want to count but I still will tell people I don't collect Black Series. But my garage says otherwise.
Yeah. I have I have most of the Black Series too, and I do prefer 3 3/4. That's like my bread and butter of my collection and my displays of everything. But I still, I love Star Wars and I love toys, and it's like if I see something and I like it and I gravitate towards it, I'm gonna buy it. It's like I'm not gonna ignore it.
Yeah. And that's why I have the Black Series figures that I do. It's the Rebels line. I had to have all the Rebels because why not? And then it's mostly Mando characters. Because as soon as Mando came out, there wasn't vintage collection figures. There was only Black Series right when Mando season 1 came out. So I was like, well, I guess these are my first steps into Black Series. And then I just kind of was like, well, I guess I'm collecting the Mando line, and just kept jumping on pre-orders and forgetting about them. And then all of a sudden you get a package a couple months later, or an email from from Hasbro saying your order is shipped, or we're going to charge your order the next day or so, or whatever. And yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's coming.
I hear you there. It's been bad. At least some places like Amazon will give you a heads up most of the time. Big Bad Toy Store will give you a heads up most of the time. Like Entertainment Earth and other places, they'll just ship it. It's like, oh no, I already got it. I just forgot I had another pre-order for it somewhere.
Yes.
That happens
Oh
to me all the
man,
time.
the dupes.
All the time.
The dupes. Yeah, I've forgotten about so many pre-order. And then what happened? You go to the store, and like I've been lucky, and I'll be in the store, and be like, oh, cool, and I'll buy it, not even realizing I have it pre-ordered 2 different places already. And it's fine if it's a trooper, but not if it's like a main character that I don't need. And I'm not an in-package collector. I open as much stuff as I have time to open. I've got a whole mountain of stuff that I need to open, and it's just like I haven't yet. But I like to open my stuff. I'm not one who cares about the packages. So when I saw like this one all busted up I was like, that's fine. I don't care. I'm gonna rip it open eventually anyways. But nice. Yeah, so I don't need duplicates. I don't need one to keep in package and one to open. I just want one to open, and that's it. But then I end up with 3 or 4 because of the pre-order situation, and it's just hard to keep track of.
Yeah, I hear you. It is very hard to keep track these days. It is definitely very hard. All right, Leathery Man, thank you for joining us. Good to see you too. Nico says, apologize, it's been asked. Are y'all covering SDCC? Covering is in going there and covering it, or talking about it tonight? Because yeah, we're talking a little bit about it tonight, but I will be there next Saturday, and but I don't know how much covering I'm going to be doing, because I focused on coverage a lot I mean, it's been a couple of years since we had Comic-Con, but or 3 years almost. Yeah, I always kept saying next time I go, I'm just going to enjoy. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to soak it all in and go as like just as a fan. But I don't know. I'm sure I'll get tempted to start photographing stuff and like making videos and stuff, because that's just what happens.
Yeah, it's just like naturally like, oh, I got to share this. Like, yeah, it's just part of the.
Oh, look
it
at
just
this.
gets ingrained in this.
Yeah. Do you open or keep in box? Dan just answered that. For myself, I do both. For vintage collection, I want to keep boxed, and they're not visible here right now, but they're all around like the top of the room. I have carded TVC. And then I buy an extra to open. It's like army builders, like I'll buy extras, and sometimes I'll even buy extras just to have a backup, just in case, never know when you're going to need an extra TVC figure.
Speaking of army builders, those army builder TVC collection sets that they've been doing, that's great. that's a really good improvement. And that's been within the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, that they started doing those. Might have been a year that they've started, but that's really cool that they're doing that. I'm glad they're finally jumping on the, hey, we know you want 4 or 5 of these figures, so let's just sell them to you in an easy way where there's little differences. So that's another thing TBC's doing right.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, and some are exceptional, like the Rebels, the Rebel Troopers. That was a fantastic set.
Yeah, a lot of
Stormtroopers,
different skin tones, different faces, hats, no hat, like helmets. Yeah, those are cool.
Really good. Yeah. Hopefully they continue that. I know that there's people that want like Rogue One Rebels, people that want Endor Rebels, more clone battalions. There's all kind of possibilities with that. Death Star gunners. So
yeah,
hopefully they keep the momentum going and continue to deliver on those. Klieg Lars. I haven't seen a request for Klieg Lars in some time. Klieg Lars is an interesting character. I don't think he really knows what he wants. He's just weird.
He's a weird dude. And his like him with a busted up leg, it would be a figure of him in a chair. That could be interesting.
Yeah. 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 It always struck me as weird how he's like, yeah, and I'm not going to give up on your mom. As soon as I heal, I'm going to go back out and look for her. And then like 5 seconds later, he's like, your mom's dead, son.
It's too much, kid. She's gone.
Like, dude,
make up your mind.
Talk about mixed signals.
Yeah. He was just afraid.
Yeah. For all we know, Shmi left him, and so
that's true. There's something else that happened.
Yeah, there could be something else. Adam, good to see you. Just saying hi, and I'm happy to be with all of you again. Thank you. We're glad that you're here. Jacob, welcome. Do you want to see
on that prior one? He had mentioned he had the Ellen Sleazebagano figure. I just want to point out that's one of the coolest figures. I have that too, and the fact that it comes with like part of the bar, like a bar top, and the little thing of death sticks. That's one of the I specifically sought out that figure, so I just wanted to say it. I saw that on there. Good on you that you have that figure. It's one of the cooler ones.
It is. Now the question is, do you have the Elin Sleazebagano with the ears or without the ears?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna reach up and find out.
Go for it. Yeah, so there is a variant. There is a variant of Elin.
Don't fall.
Don't fall. We don't want you to get hurt. There is a variant of Elin Sleazebagano that they made, and one of them has ears and one of them doesn't have the ears, and I think the one without the ears is more film accurate, but I guess when they filmed it he had the ears and they had to CGI them out or something.
He has ears.
There you go. So that's an earlier release. So Leatheryman, we need to know now, does yours have ears or does it not have ears? That's the big question.
Also, I'm so glad I didn't fall.
Yeah, we are too. That's the last thing we would want to see happen here. Jacob, good to see you. Do you want to see the TVC Darth Revan and Darth Malak and Darth Malgus and Darth Bane and Darth Nihilus? Will be cool to see. Yeah, I mean, I think Darth Bane. Give us all of it. Yeah, the Darth Bane they did previously in the 3-pack, the Evolution set is great. They could just repack that one, and I think most people would be happy. I love that figure. Same with Darth Nihilus. Malgus and Malak, though, they need to, they're really, really outdated. Those two need to be for sure updated if they bring them back.
Yeah, there's so much out there for them to give us. And it's interesting because, like, what was it, 2012-ish and before? Remember, there were so many figures. I think I'm mixing my my lines here. It was an original trilogy collection, but it was like after that. But I'll find them in like older toy stores. We have Rogue Toys here in town, and they've got a lot of those mid to late 2000s era toys, like then in early 2010s. There were just so many figures on the peg back then, and so many random characters. Like, I mean, you could get stuff like this. It's just like, what? And they don't do that anymore. We really don't get any of that stuff. And so to what he's saying about like Darth Malgus, Darth Bane, Darth Nihilus, there's so many cool characters that they could give us and we would buy easily.
Yeah.
You know, that would change my mind real quick. I'd be like, oh no, I am going to focus on this as opposed to some other stuff that I might dabble in. But I'd be like, no, this is, you got cool stuff coming out all the time. Yeah, sign me up.
I know. Those were the days, the golden age of Star Wars action figure collecting, when they did all the vehicles,
right? All of
play
everything,
sets,
everything.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was out of collecting. Like I collected when I was younger, and then that point, I think I was in my like early 20s, and I had very young kids, so I didn't have like a lot of disposable income for toys. For them, I did, but not for me. So I was out of collecting in that golden age, so I missed all of it. And then when I finally got to a point where like, okay, my kids are older, I can get back into collecting and having more fun. You know, I've got more disposable income, less to worry about. And at that point, I'm like, well, now I got to pay extra for them on eBay or find them in collectible shops and all that kind of stuff. So I missed out.
Yeah. Thankfully, there's eBay though. Like I just sometimes I wonder, like, okay, I missed out on a random figure, and like, okay, well, at least it's on eBay, right? If it wasn't, it's like I have no options. I just wouldn't be able to get it, and be like, okay, I can't finish that scene now on the shelf because I'm missing one random droid from the Hoth Echo Base scene or something.
Yeah.
Comment here about Cad Bane. If you have to pick up one bounty hunter out of the three, which one, Cad Bane or Dirge or Black Chrysanthemum? If you had to pick one for TV, tough one.
That is tough.
I don't know. What do you think, Dan?
Well, I picked up the Clone Wars Cad Bane recently. There's a couple different versions of that one, and I like that one a lot. And so since I have that, I don't need a TVC one because that one satisfies that for me. So I'm going to mark him off the list. So it puts me at Dirge or Black Chrysanthemum. If we get a really cool sculpt, I want Black Chrysanthemum because it's going to be a taller, bigger figure. And if they can nail the eyes just right, I want a Black Chrysanthemum, like menacing looking, cool figure. I would take that over Dirge.
I would say so too, because we did get a couple of Dirges back in the day. I think there's 3 actually overall.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, there's Cad Banes. They're they kind of skew a little more animated, but they're out there.
Yeah.
We don't have a Black Chrysanthemum, so if it was a brand new like sculpt, then totally, that'd be
don't reuse another Wookiee or whatever and just like paint it black. Don't do that. But if
please don't do that. Yeah, please don't do that. He's asking, I love that R2D2. Is that full size? So no, this is this one was from 2002. My mother gave me this on my birthday in 2002 or 2000. Yeah, 2002. No, sorry, 2003. And it's the Industrial Automaton R2D2, and it was like the very first like interactive R2D2, and it needs batteries. It doesn't have batteries right now, but it was always a really fun like toy. There's videos of them on YouTube. You can see people have a bunch of them together. They're like line dancing, and it's great because it listens to your voice and it listens to your commands. You can put it on alert, so it kind of like monitors your room, and if it senses somebody walk by, then the alarm goes off.
That's cool.
It plays the Cantina music. You can ask it questions like, "Hey, do you remember Darth Vader?" And he'll go crazy like, "Ah!"
Wow,
and
that's awesome.
He's got a couple compartments too. Like this one was always the fun one because you can put a can of soda or something in here, and you can just walk around with it.
That's cool.
It's really neat, and he needs batteries, but he's one of those things that takes like those big diesel batteries because it's so old. Yeah, so they're they can be kind of hard to find and expensive, but it's a cool little thing. That is a good question. I'm not sure. I can tell you roughly about how big he is. Let's see. He is about 16 inches tall.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly what scale that would be, but I know they released him a few times over the years, but it's been a long time since they have. And yeah, he's really cool. He lights up and he makes noises. And yeah, I need to get some batteries for him because he's fun. He's just
I'm in the process of building one of those. They're not D'Agostini anymore. They're Fan Home brand. It's the same thing, but they're called Fan Home. But where they mail you pieces of like the book and everything every month or roughly every month. That's really fun, but it's been kind of like it's going to be a half scale. It's going to have a projector that projects like Luke on the wall. Similar kind of features that you've got. Like it's going to be app controlled. It'll have a camera inside, so you can take pictures with it. It's fancy stuff, but it's one of those that they haven't made all the pieces yet, so they just kind of periodically send you a box with 3 or 4 kits. It's like, okay. And what's weird about it is sometimes you'll get, let's say I'm at kit number 16, it'll give me pieces that I don't need yet. And then it'll be like kit 23 down the road that I'm like, oh, now I need those pieces. And so I stockpiled all of them. I just kept, like, they sent them to me because it's part of a deal I did with Fan Home. So when it's finally built, I'll make a video of it. And it's like, I keep getting these pieces where it's like, okay, I just have to have these sit here and wait loose until 3 or 4 months later when they send me the kit that it applies to. So it's kind of a mess in that sense, but it's looking really cool so far. There's a lot of the inner wire, like you're literally wiring all of it together and plugging stuff in and testing and making sure everything works. And it's fun and it's really neat. Not something I ever thought I would do, building an actual R2 unit. But it's one of those things where because it's done every month or every couple months, you get another box. It's kind of hard to keep track.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that. Yeah. I was watching a video not too long ago. I think it was, I forget his name. He focuses a lot on like the Galaxy's Edge lightsabers, and but it was the life-size R2D2 they sell at Galaxy's Edge. Yes, Sir James.
Yeah.
And he has like a $20,000 R2. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Someone he knows had ordered that. Like they had ordered it for their kid, which is crazy. And they invited him to go review it when they got it in. And that's nuts. $25,000 for that big life-size R2 from Galaxy's Edge.
But it would be amazing to have.
Sure. Yeah, it would.
It'd be like, I got figures and I've got, this and I got that, but I got a life-size R2D2. Like that would be like the thing to have.
The real deal R2D2. Yeah.
Totally. So Rabbit Hammer, good to see you, Steve. Just saying hey while I open some biggies. Good to see you. Glad that you're able to hang out with us.
Yeah, what are you opening?
Yeah, what are you opening? Eddie, good to see you as well. Black Crescendo need to be the size of Meru from the Black series. I hope they go big on him. So yeah, that is one of the Wookiees they released in 2013 or 14 in the 3 3/4 inch Black series when they used to do that scale in Black series. And yeah, it's a little more sizable Wookiee warrior, and it's a cool figure. Yeah, it would need to be about that size. Jacob says the Knights of Ren. Disappointing because we're not getting finished the group that they should finish. We got one. One in Black series and then a different one in Vintage.
How weird.
Yeah, that's the thing. And Jacob follows that up with a comment about the Bad Batch, because they did pipeline Hunter for the Bad Batch and Vintage collection. But that's the thing, like there's so much content coming out that they have a really hard time keeping up, and Vintage collection didn't have them release that Black series yet. So it's kind of one of those things. Like in Black series, you can already get all the Rebels, you can get all the Bad Batch, you can't get any of those in TVC. So is it more worthwhile to have one like of the crew members, or is it better just to have none and focus on the things? That's kind of a tricky thing. I don't envy that position Hasbro is in.
That's hard.
Skydance Dawn, welcome. Tempted to get one of those.
Oh, is it the R2 droid?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And New Hope, Luke Skywalker from TVC, and Darth Vader, New Hope. Yeah. Well, I think we'll get those. Those are kind of like, I think they're just kind of waiting because they know that, they can make us wait for those, New Hope characters.
Yeah.
I think honestly, this Darth Vader just kind of like revise it slightly, and this could be your New Hope Vader right here. We need a brand new.
Walk me through what you would change to this to make it a New Hope Vader.
There's 2 things you would need to change. Technically 3. The first thing you would need to do is to make it so that his cape, the inner cape, covers the chest armor.
Okay. Yeah.
The next thing you would need to do is lighten the color of the lenses. So they're a little more like a brownish red color.
Okay.
And the last thing you would, I mean, nobody would care other than myself. But this one actually has the Empire Strikes Back hilt. So you would need to make sure that you change it and give him the New Hope hilt instead for the sabers.
Yeah. Wow.
That's all you would need to do.
Nice. See, this is why I go to your channel.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably had too much time on my hands.
No, I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Like, it's not something I focus on, so like it's kind of cool to be able to pick your brain and be like, no, tell me what are the differences. I'm not on that level, so it's kind of neat to hear a different perspective.
Yeah, they're fun. I think I need to ramp up, a few more vids on those. They're a lot of fun. Good to see you all. I'm cracking up in a new Godzilla figure from Monster Arts and a few alien items that are like chibi style, but super, super accurately sculpted. That sounds cool.
Nice.
This is an interesting question. So the Target TVC Victoria figure has a Bad Batch name pill color on it. Does that mean anything? I don't know what that is. But if it was deliberate, I'm honored that they would give a TVC figure the code name Victoria. I have no clue what it is or what it means. But yeah, I don't think we've actually seen it, so I'm not sure what you mean about the name pill color. But either way, I'm stoked. I'm stoked to see what it actually is.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So have you added any new lightsabers to your collection, Dan?
I think the newest lightsabers I've got, I picked up the Legacy one from Star Cruiser. I had to have that one because you can only get it on the Star Cruiser. So I feel like that, and lately the Lightsaber Forge, which is more the kids line of the character styled ones. Obi-Wan electronic one just came out a couple weeks ago, so I picked that one up recently. And I think that's it. I'm trying to keep limited on some stuff, so it was really just those two are the latest new lightsabers. I've had a couple companies reach out and say, hey, we want to send you our weird like Chinese knockoff version of a NeoPixel Obi-Wan saber. I'm like, I don't know, maybe we'll see, because sometimes those are hit or miss. They'll send me like a really nice one, and then what they actually ship out to people when they buy it is something not as nice. So I'm like, I want to be careful and do my due diligence before jumping in with any of those companies.
Right on. I heard that the Leia saber is shipping, the Elite saber is shipping from GameStop. So that
nice.
is nice. Yeah. And I think Shop Disney too, maybe sending them out. But cool. Yeah, I haven't watched any reviews or anything.
I don't do too many of the replica sabers. I try to, unless they're the plastic toy ones where you can mix and match pieces. That's the stuff that I'm like, okay, we get to make something new and different and ridiculous looking. That's fun for me. That and like the Sabis from Galaxy's Edge, but they're getting a refresh. They're refreshing all, like, so they have all these different themed ones. This is a mix and match one that I've got. It's like all 4 themes or whatever. But when you go, you build one theme and you get to pick and stick to that theme. They're getting rid of all of those pieces and refreshing the themes with brand new pieces soon. All I know is they said coming soon. And so I've asked one of the Imagineers who created it. I was like, reached out to him. I was like, so what do you mean by soon? He can't say. He's like, I can't tell you. All I can say is soon. I'm like, damn it. Nice. I need to know, because like when it happens, I need to go to Disneyland and I need to go build all of them immediately. Immediately. So it's going to be one of those things where as soon as the news drops, I have to like stop what I'm doing, leave work or whatever, and just drive and go. So I'm like waiting for any second now.
You're right on. Yeah, that's cool. I know that I haven't built my own yet. I know I've gone a couple times, and a lot of the time they'll be like, well, we're out of this part, and then we're out of from this other style, we're out of this part. So it's like, okay, well, so I end up just buying like a Legacy saber. But I do want to do that. I do want to build my own and see what it would look like.
And so I'm seeing more and more reports of that lately, where certain pieces are out. And so that's telling me that they're getting ready to swap over pretty soon. And when the Imagineer posted the other day that he was at Disneyland, he's like, "Oh, I'm at the other office." Posted a picture of Savi's workshop. He's like, "Do you guys want to know more about the scrap metal?" I'm like, "Oh, you tease. Like, why are you teasing us with this?" So I think it's going to happen sooner than I expected. Originally, I thought it was going to be next year because at Celebration, 6 weeks ago, they showed one theme. There's 4 themes total. They showed one theme, and it was just concept artwork. It wasn't even real pictures of the pieces. So when they did that, my thought is if they had all 4, they would have shown us all 4, even if it was just concept artwork. So that tells me they're not quite finalized yet. And then you actually have to manufacture them, get them over to the US, distribute them to both coasts, or maybe just one coast for now. But either way, that takes months, especially right now with the way supply chains are working. So I was thinking early next year, maybe late this year if things go well. But now to see that he's there last week, like 5 days ago, playing, and he's hinting that he's playing with the new pieces, I'm like, oh, okay. And all these reports of pieces are missing, and they don't, like, when you go to build, they only have a certain amount, so you have to, like, you get a choice of double this one instead of all the the normal variety. So that's making me think more and more that it's going to happen within weeks. So I'm antsy. I'm really antsy about it.
Interesting. Very interesting. I'd like them to expand the blade colors too, because they still don't have my color.
What's your color?
Teal or cyan.
Yeah. There's some third-party ones. Like someone modded out a third-party, like they took Savi's blade and reprogrammed whatever it is that connects so that it can do teal and orange in addition to the other colors, and it's NeoPixel, and it works with the Legacy or Savi saber. So, but that guy charges like $350 for one blade, and he hasn't made them in like 8 months. So it's like I would probably pay for it just to have, if it makes the Savi sabers that much cooler, and they're actually NeoPixel. Yeah, I would pay that much for it. It's a lot, but I know it's not going to some big company. I know it's going to some guy who's working hard, like in his basement or whatever. Right. I think that's cool. So I'd be happy to pony up a little extra to go to that kind of creativity. But he just hasn't made them in a while.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Definitely. I did get in on an order for a Corbant saber, so waiting on that. Yeah, the last time I do have like a mall saber that was like customized like in 2013, and it's really cool. It's like it surprised me that like Hasbro can't, like with the Elite sabers, can't even do the kind of tech that was available that long ago in their sabers. But yes, I hadn't like gone in for like a nicer saber since then. So I'm really excited. I'm getting like I think it's called like the Graphic Supreme or something. So I'm excited for that.
Nice. It's NeoPixel, right?
I think so.
I mean, that's once you have the NeoPixel and you've played with one, you're like, okay, there's kind of no going back. Once you've seen it and you've played with it and you've held it and you can see what they're capable of, it's just like, oh, wow. And then you look at Savi's sabers and Legacy sabers just in a different way after that. Like, okay, for almost the same price, I can get so many more features and cool stuff.
I know. So, at that point, I'd probably be like, okay, I'm buying them for the hilts, but not necessarily to play with them.
The hilts are gorgeous. The hilts are like, they're some of the most beautiful replicas out there. So that is to me where the value is for Legacy sabers, not the features. It is in the actual make of the hilts. They look great.
Totally. Do you think that that Disney will offer a Riva saber after what's gone on with the HasLab?
That's a good question. That's a real good question. I think they will. It may not be for like a year, but I do think we're going to see something. No matter what they've put out in the Legacy saber side, the Galaxy's Edge community or Disney Parks community is hungry for those Legacy sabers. It doesn't matter what it is. Even Plo Koon, people are lining up and they're like Plo Koon, and then Luminara, which is almost the same saber, just slightly different. It's like roughly looks the same, slightly different color, the pieces moved or whatever. And they're eating it up. They're eating it up. And that is even very similar to Darth Maul's saber. It's like there's not a huge jump in what they're doing as far as those 3 sabers. And people are eating it up. And there's always, in Disney World, there's always a line to try and get Legacy saber, just to get Legacy sabers. In Disneyland, anytime something new comes out, there's people who wait hours the first day it comes out to go get them. Even the first like week, they're waiting first thing in the morning.
That's crazy.
So they put out a Riva saber, yeah. Especially if they do it something where it's limited edition or special packaging, yeah, people will eat it up. They will eat it right up.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
I do think Grand
Yeah,
Inquisitor is the move, though. If they're going to do a bigger saber like that, Grand Inquisitor is probably the way to go. But even if it is Riva first, if they do it with, it'll still sell. Just that community loves that stuff.
Yeah, I when I lived like closer to Disneyland, I did used to go early when, I don't know if you remember Vinylmations, but like a decade plus ago, they were like really popular. And I did used to like get up like super early before work, and I'd go over there and just try and get like the latest, like whatever the Vinylmation was. And so
I remember
I
in
did a
downtown
little bit
Disney,
of that.
they would hang out outside the, like, was it D Street store or whatever?
D Street,
they would hang out down there, and they would have them like to trade or whatever, or they'd do that weird thing. They would be like, "Hey, I'll trade you this one for a unopened box. You got to go inside the store and buy an unopened one, and I'll trade you this one that I've got." And it was like their weird kind of like backhand way of like trading. It was weird. It was kind of sketchy feeling the way they would do it. I'd be like, "Oh, is this how we trade?" They like would trade whatever they've got for an unopened one. And yeah, it was kind of neat though. I traded a couple, and I did a couple like that. I forget which lines they were that I jumped into with Vinylmation. Star Wars. I know I had a couple of Star Wars.
The Star Wars ones were cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was neat how they had them like in the actual stores, and they had like a box, and they're like, "Okay, we'll trade it. And you can pick a number, whatever you get.
Was cool
that's
too.
What you're getting."
Yeah, that was neat. Yeah, that kind of stuff's fun. I like that. And that's all gone now, right? They don't have anything Vinylmation
that I've seen in some time.
It's been a minute, huh?
It's just weird because like pins, still a thing. Pins have been,
that's definitely still a thing.
But like Vinylmation, just for whatever reason, they just like, I don't know, people stopped buying them, or Disney just stopped caring as much.
Just moved on. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
Especially when you get a chaser, you open it up, you're like, "Oh my god, I got a chaser."
Yep.
There are people with little scales to weighing them, like to see if, because sometimes the certain ones weight a little more.
Yeah, because they have maybe something sculpted on or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a hat or something. It's funny.
I've heard of people doing that in the UK with the Micro Galaxy Squadron, because the barcodes are all the same and the codes are all the same. But there's like a Cobb Vanth chase, and there's a Scout Trooper biker that has Grogu in the bag, and that's the other chaser. And yeah, so people will get. I heard them recently saying like, "No, get your scales out and start like weighing the packages, because that's how you can tell." I couldn't imagine walking into a store with my own scale and be like, "What?"
I know. And it's kind of like when I go to Target sometimes, and those little Lego minifigure blind bags that they sell. Like I'll see like grown men like just there like feeling like fondling them like to see like what's in there.
I want Beaker, dang it, I want Beaker. Or whatever the Muppets one lately is, everybody's freaking out about Beaker.
The Muppets. It's funny. Skydance Dawn says, "I'd love a spinner saber. That'd be neat."
All right.
If they're able to do that. Because the Black Series one didn't do that.
So there was a plastic toy one from the, I want to say 2012, 2011-ish era. It was Clone Wars. It was a Grievous saber. It wasn't actually modeled after his saber, but it has a spinning mechanism. And so it's a spinning handle, and you can lock it and it only spins one way and won't reverse, or you can unlock it and it spins both ways. And it's two separate sabers that click in, and they're electronic, and it's one of the coolest toys ever. That same idea, I don't know how well that would work with metal, because it's going to wear out over time and not work as well after a while, after so many spins, right? But that toy in plastic has held up for at least 10 years that I know of. Since it still spins, it still works. And what's neat is if you plug both sabers in, the second you spin, it does something to them that turns them on. So you could have them off, but as soon as you spin, it turns both sabers on and they go. Or you could just have one saber in and just kind of spin it. It's a really neat set that I'm glad I got. It's one of the coolest toy lightsabers ever made.
That sounds
and one
cool.
side's blue, one side's green, and it's called the Grievous lightsaber.
Sounds vaguely familiar. I mean, that's a YouTube and see if I remember it. But yeah, that sounds really neat.
Yeah.
Super cool. Jacob says I got good one. TVC Darth Plagueis will be a good one reissuing this update. You guys think about that? I'll have them still. Yeah, so that was in 3 3/4 inch black series, and it wasn't a common figure at all. I had to order mine like online. But yeah, that'd be a good one for TVC. I know a lot of people missed out on that figure.
Yeah.
The Emperor says, it'd be really cool if Galaxy's Edge makes legacy lightsaber of the Grand Inquisitor. So that's what you were actually just saying, Dan.
Yeah. I think that's key, that it actually spins. If they're going to do that, because the Hasbro HasLab one wasn't really going to spin, right? There was no spinning function. So if Disney does one, it has to, like, it's fine if it doesn't have NeoPixel. It's fine if it doesn't have all the best features. It has to at least spin. Like, at a minimum, make it spin.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Jacob says, Dan and Victoria, you guys worried about no more plastic in the future, just cardboard. I'm disappointed about that. So that's the plastic-free packaging that, comes up here like every week.
No plastic. This is special, but it's no plastic.
Right.
Yeah. A little worried, because I heard, I don't know where they were, but I saw on Twitter, some people were getting this figure from retail. I don't know where, but they opened it and there were other toys inside. They had already been returned and put something else. I'm like, oh, man.
It was weird. It was like those toys you get out of like those quarter machines where you twist the thing.
Yeah, they were like Parachute Man or something. It was like little cheap knockoff blue Army Man or something.
Yeah, strange. Yeah, so that is a concern. I mean, and there has been like polling, like Bantha Skull and the Vintage Collection Facebook group, really big group, have done polling on this, and most people say that if they do switch to plastic free for the main TVC line, that they're gonna cut their collecting in half at least, or stop collecting altogether. So it's definitely gonna have an adverse effect if they do that. So hopefully,
how does that work for like in-package collectors? Because you'll never know what's in there. It'll be like Schrodinger's figure. You don't know like if the right figure's in there or not, and you'll never know because you're not going to open it. So,
right?
It's just a weird prospect that, like, okay, you just can't see the figure unless it's where they do a clear cutout, no plastic, but like a cutout where you can see the figure. That would be nice.
Yeah, and I mean that's like what part of the charm of these guys is that you see the figure and you see the character image there on the card. And they did this back in 78, early 80s, because the figure looked so unlike the actual characters from the movie that they had to put the picture there to remind you this is who it is. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of history to this aesthetic, and there's a lot of like, cultural importance to it. So I really hope they find a way to make an exception there, to allow it to keep happening as it is, because you can't compare that to like some random like thing with plastic in it, on the packaging, because it is like a different thing.
What if they source it in a different way and they make like a clear, because can't they make a similar to plastic material but out of corn?
There are like biodegradable plastics.
If I'd settle for something like that, as long as there's a clear bubble still. It doesn't have to be plastic, but it's made out of a different, more environmentally sustainable material. They can still say it's not plastic. Maybe there's a loophole right there.
That's true. I just had a visualization of looking up onto the wall, and then like it's missing the bubble because it degraded.
It's just what does it smell like? Corn in here.
Pico B1 says if they don't complete the original 96 before plastic goes away, it's going to be a problem. Yeah, a lot of people are not going to be happy about that. So let's hope they do that sooner rather than later.
And how many do they have to go on that original 96?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. Quite a few.
Oh wow, they're not even close then.
No, there's multiple years worth still.
Oh,
at the rate they sprinkle them in, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Since you guys have been collecting a lot, are you guys going to stop collecting if they do that, or are you guys going to keep going because it's ridiculous? I'm assuming the plastic free.
It's got to be what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I would still collect them. I would just buy less, because I wouldn't buy another one to keep carded. Like if it wasn't right, I'd probably just buy one.
Yeah, I think, and since I open everything, I think my situation would be determined on quality control. If I end up getting 3 or 4 awful figures that have bad paint apps or something's missing or whatever, I can only be burned so many times before I'm over it, right? And I just throw up my hands and be like, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. So it really depends on the presentation. If there is a window where we can see the figure and know that I'm not getting a wonky-eyed or wonky paint-apt face or something, yeah, it's all about quality control for me. If they put little steps in to make that easier and better for the consumer, cool, I'm still in. But if I keep getting burned and wind up with messed up figures that I couldn't see because you don't know what you're buying, then yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, you don't want to open it and find. I mean, QC has gotten better. Paint apps with the face printing has gotten better, but there's still at times are issues. So
there's always a
you wouldn't
chance
want to buy
something.
the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see it is the problem at this point. Pico V1 says there's about 32 original 96 that have not been done yet.
Oh,
so
wow. Yeah.
If they do 5 a year, and
That's a
that's
good
generous, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna take it's gonna take a while. Eddie says there is a new electronic 12-inch Vader based on OB1, packaged in an open tray box like the Grogu budget 5 packs at Walmart. So they're definitely letting you see the product for that.
So speaking of that budget 5-figure pack, I've been to probably like 8 Walmarts within the last week looking for Micro Galaxy. At every single Walmart I've been to, I've seen that 5-figure budget pack with either figures missing or Walmart had to clearance it because figures were missing and then tape around the whole thing with plastic. Like,
wow.
But use tape to seal it because people will open it and take a figure or two. Every store I've been to, there's been that situation at every single one. I'm like, wow, here's another one. And so,
interesting.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Wow, that is interesting. I hadn't seen that. And I do have that pack. I didn't willingly buy it. My awesome mother, who happy birthday! It's her birthday today. My mom.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thanks. She bought that for me when I went to visit a few months ago. She just came home with it. And she's like, "Look, I bought you some Star Wars figures," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
Nice.
So I have them, and they're budget figures, but they're cool. It's Star Wars, right? They're cool.
Yeah.
And here's the corn right here for the bubbles. Oh, thank you, Jacob. That's kind. Cool. Well, what else have you been up to, Dan?
Just kind of planning out the next couple months. We got another Mosh Isley thing coming up soon, so we've been talking about that behind the scenes a lot. But really, just focusing on hunting these Micro Galaxy Squadron for right now, and just waiting for the Savi stuff. Being ready, like having a contingency plan for when that drops has been like the top of priority for me lately. Post celebration, it's been like, okay, I just am waiting for that to happen. In the meantime, as far as channel stuff, I'm going to be revisiting a lot of the Galaxy's Edge things, like the lightsabers and droids. I'm actually working on a big comprehensive video just on droids right now. And I thought I was going to have it out last week. And I literally went through every accessory, every droid type, every personality chip, and strung together this big video that will teach anyone who's never been to Galaxy's Edge everything they need to know about the droids. So when they get in there, they'll know exactly what they want. They'll just be super informed and ready to go, which is some of the feedback I get all the time on my channel, is that my videos helped people on their first trip to Galaxy's Edge. So I'm like, why not lean into that and just get cleaner, better, more concise videos that just give people all the info they ever wanted. And so I'll be doing that with droids soon, and then the lightsabers after that.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll need to watch it because I still haven't built a droid yet. I go in there every time, and I'm looking around at the droids, and I'm like, one of these days I'm going to do it.
You have to weather them though. After you buy it, you got to weather it and then add all the cool stuff to it. It just makes it so much better when you've mucked it up a little bit.
That's cool. And I assume there's an upcharge to add all the little.
Yeah, the accessories, all the little arms and everything. I think that was $12.99 for these little accessory packs that go in there. The little blasters on the side, that was I think $17.99. It's for 2 blasters. But then there's also jet packs for $17.99. I have one of each. I'm a weirdo like that. But I mix and match just because they've got a new tow cable that just came out a couple weeks ago. So it's over the battery plate. It's a magnetic tow cable that pops out. And there's little, let's see if I got them here close by. I know I do somewhere. Go. There's 3 different ones. So they all come with 3 different like cases. There's this one, looks like one of the, come on. You see the little sculpt there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so it opens up and it's actually like storage. You could put stuff in there if you wanted. And then they've got, this one's more of a Galaxy's Edge logo kind of thing. But they all have magnets in them. Where is it? And you can attach these to it and it can pull them. So you can hook this to it and drive it around. It'll pull the little cargo crate or whatever. It's just a neat, fun accessory. And they're constantly adding new stuff to these droids and new accessories and new just updates to all the Galaxy's Edge stuff, which honestly, I didn't think they were going to do as frequently as they're doing. So it's kind of neat that they're keeping all this stuff fresh for us, that my $100 spend on one droid, they keep getting me for more like DLC, like another $17 here, another $17 there, to be like, oh, well, now my droid's upgraded and it's got all the cool stuff. But I'm loving it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's great. So, you can continue to add to it and upgrade it.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So we'll do one more run through here on the comments and see. Thank you, Don. Appreciate that's kind. Thank you, Bob. Jacob, I have a question. They kind of left off the vehicles and the creatures for TVC, but which ones do you want to see the most of those brought back? The vehicles and creatures were you like more? So yeah, that is kind of a glaring area of TVC that they haven't really touched, is small vehicles and creatures. I know a lot of people have been asking for a blurg. A lot of people have been asking for them to bring back the speeder bike. And they could totally do that. It wouldn't cost as much as like an X-Wing or cost as much as like, a bigger, like the troop transport. But that isn't a segment that exists. And, I know a lot of people want to see things like that, because then you can get the Wamp out there, you can get the Tauntaun back out there, the land speeder, a lot of smaller stuff. So hopefully they find a way to do that.
Yeah. I want a Bantha, because the only Banthas were was it like mid to late 2000s ones? Those are expensive now.
Yeah.
But they had real fur and stuff on them. Oh, you have one? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's almost possible to see, right? Yeah, it doesn't look anything. I mean, it looks okay, I guess, but it doesn't look great by any stretch of the imagination. So, yeah, new Bantha.
They did cool. Was it Force Link 2 Wampa? That's actually really good. It's pretty good for what it is.
Yeah, it's good. Mm-hmm. It is.
I don't think it ever worked with Force Link though, which is funny, because that Force Link 2 was kind of a failure. That app never updated, and there was a lot of newer stuff like the Wampa set that never ever worked. It was like, we're waiting update, and it just never updated. So I don't think anyone has ever heard what the Wampa sounds like on Force Link 2. It's kind of sad, because even though it's a gimmicky, silly feature, I liked it. I thought it was something fun to try out and do. But they kind of left it hanging there.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely just like a 2-year thing, and then it was like,
and they were like, yeah, we're over it. Okay.
Yeah, we're over it.
And those figures were getting better for being the equivalent to 5 POA. They were getting better.
Mm-hmm.
But oh
well, can't win them all, I guess.
Yeah.
Since we're getting Tales of the Jedi, you're going to see TVC in the future? So I hope, because it's from Clone Wars. I think that's possible. They do Clone Wars figures, so I think Tales of the Jedi could happen. And then he follows that up with really cool to see young Dooku with the blue saber. Be really cool to see, but need a Sith version TVC. Yeah, so we don't have the regular Dooku in TVC. We do have Dooku figures, but not in TVC. So yeah, I guess it would make sense to do classic Count Dooku in TVC first, or you do the young version.
Yeah.
Pico B1 says that gray one is a radonium canister.
Oh, I did not know that.
Is that what it is? Cool. I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm not familiar. Well, I might as well show you the third one too, since I've got it right here. Now this one will look familiar too. This is the third canister for the other colored door. So those were in like Rogue One, and you've seen those in other things too. But they all open up. Every single one has magnets, so they attach and they all open up and can hold at least something. But they're just neat little, cool accessories.
No, super cool. I need to do that. It's like I go and then it's like lightsaber or droid. And usually I skew towards lightsabers, but yeah, I
And
need to
that's
do
a
the
special
droid.
experience. Like when you do that lightsaber build, you're paying for the experience of the show as well as you are a physical lightsaber to go home with. So that one's a little bit more emotional, like you're building your lightsaber. Where the droid one is more just like, oh no, I'm just in here having fun, like just building whatever. But the saber one is more of a show, and there's a whole presentation that's where a lot of the value is, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Britt says, when I picture Dooku, I still hear him having Christopher Lee's voice. Yeah, you would think his voice wouldn't change all that much. It's already super deep, but
yeah, it depends on how young, I guess.
Star Wars: Old Republic remake. Since we're getting the video game, do you think Hasbro do TVC? Yeah, so I know a lot of people still want Revan. A lot of people want I mean, they could still do those in TVC. And there's also like HK-47. They did that. They did a figure of that. It was a Build-A-Figure back during the Legacy collection. It's a great figure, but they never like really like put it on its own card.
Released it. Yeah.
That would be a pretty wise release, I would say, by itself. People would argue about that. And Paul says, like a panther. So I haven't asked you yet, Dan. What did you think of Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I had fun watching it. Let me lead with that. I had fun watching it every week when I did it. Like I do watch parties on my channel, and I enjoyed it and I had fun. It was not what I expected, and I feel like I liked it, but I wouldn't say I loved it. There were some moments like that fight, the big main fight between Obi-Wan and Vader. To me, that moment was like peak Star Wars for me, but the show overall was not. So like a lot of the same with Book of Boba Fett, there was a lot that I loved about the show, but I don't know that I loved the show overall. I liked it and I had fun watching it, but it wasn't quite what I expected. And again, I found it enjoyable. I would still give it a thumbs up. If I had to pick down or up, I'd say up still. But I didn't like love it. Like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing ever. But there were parts that I did. So that's how the last couple Star Wars things have been for me lately. I'm like, no, I had fun, but it wasn't all like amazing and perfect. I feel like they could have done better in some areas.
Yeah, totally. It was definitely, I mean, I agree. I think what it suffered from most, and after it came out, the original writer, he said, "Oh, this was supposed to be just one movie, the first season." So it's like, I think what they did is, they stretched it out to be like a whole like 6 hours or however many hours it was.
Yeah.
Instead of like a 2-hour film. And I think, there was a lot of filler in there and a lot of stuff that took longer than maybe it needed to get the story going.
For sure.
So, I mean, I enjoyed it too. I enjoyed it immensely, but
like I had a
think
lot of fun watching it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it suffered too from like budget. It was definitely like,
there were some moments like where I was like, okay, yeah, that doesn't look the best. Like I feel like they could have done better in some of the CGI scenes. I just like seeing them. I was like, oh yeah, that's a little painfully too CGI. It didn't seem the same caliber as Lucasfilm normally delivers.
True. And I think, like if one show should have had all the bells and whistles for Disney Plus, it should have been this one, because this one ties directly into the films. Mando doesn't quite do that. Book of Boba Fett doesn't quite do that. Andor probably doesn't quite do that. So I mean, this is actually like legacy characters like that it's focusing on. And I think like just using the volume to shoot the whole thing, probably, obviously like Marvel doesn't necessarily do that with all their shows. So the production looks a little bit bigger. I think all those things did affect it. And it was still fun. It was still entertaining and great. But it's just a little bit disappointing that, it wasn't as good as it could have been.
I do feel they could have given us better. We could have been given a better show for sure. Even recently, did you see that guy did a movie cut, like a movie length cut of all the Obi-Wan episodes and just trimmed it down, rearranged a couple things, and people are saying it's a lot better.
Oh
And
wow, I
it
haven't seen
added
it.
very little, like added very, very little, but made a lot of things. Just the edit was so much better. I think it's like 2.5 hours total is what he cut it down to. And people are like, no, this is how it should have been told. This is a way better way to do this. And just like little certain elements got rearranged, cut out a lot of the filler that didn't need to be there, and just made it more to the point, and added a couple things that made it just a little more a little hard hitting and a little more emotional. And really that was it. And it was like, oh, this is just a better presentation of what they made.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to phrase it too, presentation, because like the acting was there, the cast I thought was excellent.
Oh yeah,
You had
yeah.
all the ingredients were there. It just yeah, the presentation wasn't the best. And oh well, it was still fun. It was still great that we had
Yeah,
it. Better that it
yeah, we
existed that
got
way
it
than not at all.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm glad we got
So
something.
totally. Well, right on. Anything else you want to share, Dan, about the channel or about anything else going on?
No, I think that's it. Just kind of getting stoked for Andor. Oh, I've been doing watch parties. So if any of you guys like live streams and like hanging out, I do late night watch parties every Tuesday night. So at like 10 p.m. Pacific time, very late night, especially if you're on East Coast. We're digging into episodes. The last couple weeks we've been doing post Obi-Wan. We've been doing some Rebels episodes that kind of tied in Twin Suns, stuff like that. But now we're getting more into, we're on the path towards Andor. So this last Tuesday we watched the episodes from Rebels with Mon Mothma and Leia where they appeared. So we typically do like 2 episodes. Next week we're going to start diving into the Saw Gerrera episodes of Clone Wars, and then on Thursday I'm doing an extra stream. Thursday we'll look at some of the Saw Gerrera episodes from Rogue One. Not Rogue One. I'm sorry, of course Rogue One from Rebels that he appeared in. And so we're kind of going to be building into the rebellion in the weeks leading into the release of Andor.
Awesome.
So if you guys are into that, come stop by Tuesdays at 10 p.m.
Yeah, definitely stop by. We'll have links in the description once this episode goes up for publishing. But yeah, Dan, it's been a blast. Really appreciate having you on the show. Was this your first time on Social Hour?
I think I did one before.
Maybe like
I did
while
one.
back, right?
I want to say it was at least a year ago. I want to say Jurassic Dave was part of it as well.
Okay.
I think there was 1 or 2 other people who were here.
Right on. Yeah, there's been quite a few. I'm like, were you on here before? I was like, yeah, of course I was.
Yeah, at least once. At least once.
Right on. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Dan, for being on here. It's been fun chatting as it always is. And where else can our viewers here go to look you up on the interwebs?
You can find me on Instagram at the Dano Channel, on Twitter at the Dano Channel. Those are really the other one, other than my YouTube channel, the Dano Channel. Really, that's it. That's where I'm more active, is Instagram and YouTube, and now Twitter a little bit more.
Well, right on. Thank you, Dan, and thanks to everybody here who's been hanging out with us and asking us questions.
Thank you to everyone in the chat keeping this thing going. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Been a lot of fun. And we'll have links to where you can find Dan O in the description once this video publishes. So thank you all very much. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody.
We will see you next weekend, next Friday. So enjoy, everybody. Awesome. Take care. Be safe. May the force be with you. And we'll see you soon.
See ya.